and welcome to my channel, where science, technology, engineering, and math are made easy. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the print function in Python. Without further ado, let us begin. First of all, let's look at the basic print function. So right here, each of these boxes is the input box. The output's going to be printed below. You're going to see that. So I'm going to do print, all lowercase, and in parentheses, I'm going to put two quotation marks. And between those quotation marks, I'm going to put the value I want to print. And I want to print apple. So what happens here is that I use the print function in the input box, in parentheses, in quotation marks, to get my output. Here's the output. This is the input box, this is the output box. Now let's print multiple values. So I'm going to print, all lowercase, in parentheses and in quotation marks, apple. But where this is going to be different from the first box is that I'm going to put a comma here and add another value, orange. And apple and orange are both printed. Now let's print different value types. So I'm going to print apple, comma, 7, comma, negative 13.4, comma, true. So what just happened here? Well, you can print strings, integers, boolean, and float. And the string here would be apple. A string is anything in quotation marks. So if you put true or negative 13.4 or 7 in quotation marks, their values would change to string, despite being true, false, or a number. So you can print a string, comma, an integer, comma, float, which is negative 13.4, and a boolean value, which is true. So strings are any values in quotation marks. Integers are any whole numbers. Floats are any decimals or fractions, and Boolean value is simply true or false. As I said earlier, if I put 7, negative 13.4, or true in quotation marks, it would no longer be an integer, float, or Boolean. It would just be a string. And once again, the output is printed below. So let's print on multiple rows. Print apple 7, print negative 13.4, and true. So since the print function, there's two print functions and they're on two different rows, it's printed on two different rows. Now let's try this with variables. So I'm going to say a equals 7, print a, and I get 7. So what I'm doing here is I'm assigning the variable, and the variable's a, its value, which is 7. And what I'm doing here is to print the value that is stored in the variable. And since 7 is stored in A, you print 7. Now let's use the separator function. Here things get a little more complicated, but still easy. So I'm going to print apple, orange, and grape. I'm going to put sep for short for separate, equals, and in between two quotation marks, a comma, and put my parentheses. And this separates the values through commas in the output. We can also separate it with and. So I'm going to do print apple, comma, orange, comma, grape. Quotation marks, comma, sep equals, in parentheses, slash n. And this times it separates apple, orange, and grape through these symbols, apple and orange and grape. Now we can also use other separators. So I'm going to do something very similar. Print apple, comma, orange, comma, grape. Sep, and then between the parentheses, I'm going to put a line, and it separates apple, orange, and grape with a line. Now what if I put 3 lines? It separates it with 3 lines. Now suppose I put an underscore. It separates them with an underscore. Suppose I put 6 here. It's separated by a 6. Apple, 6, orange, 6, grape. Suppose I separate it with a exclamation mark. It's separated with an exclamation mark. Let's say I decide to separate it with an A. It's separated with an A. So that's really all I have for you guys. Please tell me how I did, what I can do better. Please consider looking at my other videos on my channel. And I've created this website right here. It's still new. It doesn't have all of my videos, but it is a start and I will update it sometime this year. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.